Hey guys, I want to address some of the comments that were said on my previous video, which was a response to Robbie Harvey's video about Susie. For those who missed it, Robbie proposed a wild idea that we help and forgive Susie and basically forget everything that she's done. And I guess implying that it's just water under the bridge and that it doesn't matter.
Here he is. Just listen to this.
Susie, if you need help, we can help you. No questions asked. I don't care what you know. I don't care what you've done. I don't care about any of that stuff.
In my response video, I disagreed with that idea. I think that it's ridiculous. I argued that we should hold accountable a homewrecker who had an affair with a married pastor. Well, some of you pointed out in the comments that the same could be said for Mica, that she also had an affair with JP. Now, although that's true, I don't agree that it's the same because of context. Before I get into that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Okay, now let's talk about Mica. Mica was groomed by JP, her pastor, since she was 14 years old. And maybe earlier, considering she put in a police report that he groomed her since she was 10 years old. So we don't really know how early this relationship started. So let's just say 14 years old. And let's not forget, he also separated her from her family in her teen years, moving her in with a church family, and then later on, having her marry his best friend when she was 19. 5 years later, he seduced her into having an affair, leading both of them to divorce their spouse at that time. And then they both end up marrying each other later on. Mica never had children. So this is also a big difference. Now, as for Susie, Susie's 49, a mature adult, married for over 20 years to a man who was disabled in a wheelchair for 2 decades, who needed her support. They also had 2 children. Susie chose to engage in an affair with JP, fully aware of her family responsibilities. When her husband discovered the affair, he tragically died, appearing to have taken his own life. I realize his death, being a suicide, is considered an allegation and not a fact. But if you don't believe it, you should watch Robbie Harvey's latest video about Chris Skinner, where he says he saw the video of Chris's death and it was no accident. Despite this, Susie continued her relationship with JP, indifferent to the impact on her children and the loss of their father. I mean, just check out this Instagram post from Susie's daughter where she shows a written prayer to God. She's asking God to give her mother discernment and to stay away from JP. It's awful to think that Susie's kids had to deal with all this and knowing everything their mother was doing the whole entire time. I believe Susie saw JP as an investment towards a better life. JP is a wealthy pastor. Well, at least he was a wealthy pastor. I'm guessing after her husband died, instead of just, instead of this weighing on her conscience, she thought, well, now I'm really invested in this relationship. I've paid with my husband's life. I better make this work. Again, that's why the sad pictures are coming out. She's starting to realize that she made a very, very, very bad investment. The money is starting to dry up. The church closed down. She wasn't sad when her husband died, and she wasn't sad when Micah died. In my opinion, Susie is in the same category as JP. While both Micah and Susie were involved in an affair with JP, context matters. Again, Micah was a victim of grooming from a young age. Her ability to make her own decisions was compromised by JP's manipulative influence. She lacked the life experience and a maturity to fully grasp the consequences of her actions. She didn't have children, so while her actions affected her spouse, they didn't directly harm any children. And JP probably didn't just groom her. He probably also SA'd her as a child when she was their family's babysitter. If you don't believe that, listen to this creepy poem Michael wrote for JP for his birthday, and he read it at her memorial.
She would write poetry. And I thought, what kind of woman, writes poetry? And she'd just write poetry. And so I want to read one of the more recent poems she wrote. She was so creative. She had a note field on her phone with just tons and tons of poems that she'd write for the family. And this one, she said, this one was actually a birthday present she gave. She said, "It's a movie in my head, but I wish it were real. I see you on the playground, tell you how I feel. Give me a tiny flower that you picked days ago and say I was scared, but now I know. We grow up slow, but the days go by fast. This crush we have still seems to last. Our friends would poke fun, they'd say she's not the one. You should try some other guys, maybe your feelings will change in time. But we stick together, hoping this could be forever. Passing notes in school just isn't enough, and keeping our hands off each other is tough. Kissing all night under the stars."
Wait, he skipped a couple lines there, didn't he? "You see mine, and I see yours. Then we blush and quickly pull up our drawers." How freaky and creepy is that?
Kissing all night under the stars. We have a secret place we like to call ours. A house made of sheets and rope and stick, but to us it feels more lasting than brick. Now it's college time, but we both know that's dumb. Why go our separate ways when we're having so much fun? Driving until there's no more road, singing Garth Brooks and Billy Joel. So we do what we do best, drive, sing, and play. We see every famous landmark along the way. I look up in the sky, so happy with my life, and a plane flies by. Mica, will you be my wife? A moment of destiny I couldn't have planned better, that I got to marry my crush forever.
Yeah, he read that weird frickin' poem at her memorial. How bizarre is that? He thinks he's so untouchable that he openly makes this poem public, admitting to essaying and grooming her. All right, so we've established that Mica was groomed and probably essayed by JP as a child, and he probably took her virginity. We could probably even consider her actions as a form of Stockholm syndrome. On the other hand, again, for Susie, she was an adult with full control over her decisions. There's a huge difference of choices you make when you're 24 versus when you're 50. In short, both people made bad choices, but the reasons behind them are different. Michael was influenced and controlled by someone for years, which helps us understand why she acted the way that she did. Susie, on the other hand, knew what she was doing and made choices that seriously hurt her family. It's important to see these differences before we judge. Being forgiving is very important, but people still need to be responsible for their actions. We just can't say, let it go. Let's not forget, regardless, Mica was abused in every way possible and ended up dead. Susie, on the other hand, she just added fuel to the fire of Mica's abuse. Thank you for watching and being a part of the discussions. I love having a dialogue in the comments and hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions. So remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.